Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Michael Attendra, and generally speaking, I'm somebody who does not approve the use of cameras or cell phones to capture a moment in time when I believe the individual should be capturing the memory with the lens of their eyes instead of the lens of a camera. But something may have swayed me in the other direction where these devices are okay to use sometimes. And we're going to discuss that today. And so our story begins at Castle Island on a day late in the spring, beautiful weather, and we were in attendance to one of my niece's first birthday parties. And my grandmother was also there, and she had found a small patch on the side of a grassy hill where the sunlight was bleeding through the trees and onto the ground, and that was where she kind of called home for a little while as she observed the party play out. Now I want you to imagine this like a cat who has just found a pool of light sprinkling through the windows as the sun is setting, and as this light is fleeting across the floor, this cat is sprawling out to chase this puddle of warmth that the sun has created on the floor so that they may remain to sunbathe. This is the exact same situation, except my grandmother didn't move at all and the sun was just escaping from her. But nonetheless, my sister's children were also in attendance at this party, and they saw this as a golden opportunity to strike. And by that, I mean they secretly snuck up behind my grandmother and were gathering all these bundles of grass. This slowly made their way up behind her. And when the time came, I don't know if my grandmother was completely oblivious to what was about to happen, or maybe she was going along with it and just kind of let it happen. But these children, they grabbed the back of her shirt, ripped it back, and just tossed grass all in her shirt and through her hair, and it was a lot of fun. And at the time, my grandmother loved it. She tossed her head back in laughter and smiles, and the girls just kept grabbing more grass and throwing it everywhere, and it was just a mess. But it was in this moment that I had grabbed my camera and was able to capture one of these moments where they were in motion of throwing the grass down her shirt, and she had whipped her head back in laughter, and I was able to capture this moment. And this is where that blurry gray area for me becomes whether or not you should bring a device and capture these moments as opposed to living them firsthand. Where, for me, as I was not the one taking the action and experiencing that moment, I was the one as a bystander, I would say that that was an appropriate time for me to capture that, because hopefully this image, this representation of who their great-grandmother was and how she interacted and loved them so much will stay with them, and that this is the image that they refer back to when they get much older and they don't have these memories because they've run out of time to create these memories with their great-grandmother has run up, and that this will be a good representation of who she was and that they are able to hold that dearly to them. And that's what I'm hoping to capture with stuff like this, and that's why it was such an honor for me to be able to capture this image. Whereas if the girls had been, they had a cell phone and they were like, let me grab a 5-second Snapchat video of me doing this, and it's like a selfie and they're throwing it, that would have been an inappropriate time to capture that moment because they wouldn't have really been involved in what was going on. And so I think that we should all take away from this is that there is an appropriate time when and when not to take a device to capture a moment, and being able to capture that moment can be extremely endearing to the people that were involved in that moment. But I think if you are the one living the experience, I think you should step back from technology and just allow yourself to create a memory that you're going to hold this nostalgic feeling for years to come, because our brains work in a way that we fill in the blanks when we don't exactly know exactly what happened. And I think that's the best thing that we could possibly do, because it allows us to tell the story in greater detail than we could ever have done if we were to retell it as it was. And I think in that sense it holds a little bit of magic where people create their own memories a little bit instead of retelling exactly what happened. And so, put down the camera, put down your cell phone, keep it in the pocket, and just live in the moments, live in the now, and capture that moment with the lens of your eyes and not the lens of your camera.